Hello and welcome. This is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. We are broadcasting live from Abuja. I am Chinenye Nwoye. Remember, you can follow this news broadcast live on our website at www.nta.ng/live and on all our social media handles displayed on your screen for update. The Senate has confirmed the appointment of Professor Joash Amokpiton as the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission. Amokpiton, a professor of law and senior advocate of Nigeria, is the sixth to occupy the position since the return of democracy in 1999. During the screening, he acknowledged the shortcomings noted by lawmakers in Nigeria's electoral system and expressed readiness to inject the needed reforms for integrity and improved transparency and accountability in the entire process.
Joash Ojo Omopichan, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, is hereby confirmed as the Chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission.
A political group on the platform of the governing All Progressives Congress APC, tagged the Progressive Frontiers, says President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda is gaining momentum across all sectors. This was during the official unveiling of the group, where the Frontiers pledged unwavering commitment to promote the ideals of the Tinubu's presidency and counter any propaganda against the administration.
In President Tinubu, we see a leader whose bold vision for economic revival, inclusive governance, and generational renewal aligns with the aspiration of millions of Nigerians, both home and abroad. From fuel subsidy reforms to renewed investment in infrastructure, from empowering small businesses to social investment, from economic change and restructuring to redefining our place on the global stage.
Also declares building an inclusive movement that will accommodate and uplift all categories of Nigerians for the common purpose of ensuring the renewed hope agenda thrives in changing the narrative through several economic reforms under the Tinubu-led government. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NEC, has approved the release of 28 billion naira from the meter acquisition fund to electricity distribution companies to meter all outstanding unmetered Band A and Band B customers. The funds will be allocated in proportion to the respective contributions of the distribution companies under Tranche B of the intervention. In an order released by NEC, all the meters to be procured and installed under the Meter Acquisition Fund framework shall be provided free to Band A and Band B tariff customers. NEC directs all distribution companies to complete the installation of the meters under the Tranche B of the Meter Acquisition Fund by 31st December 2025. The intervention under the Meter Acquisition Fund is part of the Commission's deliberate efforts to close the metering gap in the country, and it will run concurrently with other interventions, including the Presidential Metering Initiative. The federal government assures citizens of an enabling environment for massive food production to eradicate hunger and malnutrition in the country. The Ministers of Agriculture and Food Security and that of Livestock Development gave this assurance as they joined farmers in commemorating the 2025 World Food Day. Musa Baba Aliyu reports.
World Food Day is an international observance held on 16 October every year to promote food security and raise awareness about poverty and hunger. This awareness campaign inspired work in the federal capital. The theme for this year's commemoration is Hand in Hand for Better Food and a Better Future.
Hand in Hand is a collective idea, it's a collaborative idea, and we are going to bring what we think is global thinking but local action. And the action we bring together will help us to deliver on this better food and a better future.
As we celebrate World Food Today, let us remember the vital role that livestock play in our journey towards a food secure world. Let us work hand in hand governments, the private sector, development partners, and the communities to invest in and support the livestock.
A recent survey indicates that Nigeria is becoming more food secure, with production increasing and food inflation decreasing nationwide. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu says robust partnerships built on shared values can promote stronger health systems, expand access to education, and offer hope to families across Nigeria. She was speaking at the 12th edition of the MEC Foundation First Ladies Initiative Committee meeting held in Banjul, Gambia. State House correspondent Adeni Itaiwo reports.
Again, MEC Foundation brought together African First Ladies. Their convergence in Banjul, Gambia, to explore their shared vision for a healthier, better educated, and more empowered continent.
My commitment is driven through the Renewed Hope Initiative.
Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has taken major strides in this regard through our pet project, Renewed Hope Initiative, and at the meeting, she highlighted interventions in the health sector, including the donation of $2 million to support advocacy and treatment for cervical cancer and tuberculosis as part of its commitment to eliminating both diseases by 2030. She recalled similar impact in the education sector with the provision of annual scholarships to 47 indigent students in universities for 3 consecutive years. According to the First Lady, these collaborations and partnerships have continued to yield success stories across the nook and crannies of Nigeria.
We are glad to inform this gathering that we were awarded 71 scholarships, and we appreciate MEC Foundation for the education intervention, which aligns perfectly with our RHI goals of promoting access to education for all, especially the girl child. And for medical scholarship with MEC, a total of 82 scholarships have been awarded to Nigerian doctors in critical and underserved medical specialties, an increase of 19 scholarships since our last committee meeting. I'm looking forward to how we can expand our collaboration. The more I understand the great work you have been doing, and the more I begin to appreciate our collaboration.
Our ambition is to reach more people, transform more lives, and build more connections across sectors, nations, and generations.
So on children and young people to raise awareness about cancer, which is very, very, very critical and important, especially for children, because it's curable. Children cancer is curable, so it is preventable, curable, so we need to have awareness about it.
The meeting saw First Ladies from African countries making presentations on key interventions bordering on women and children's health and education. Adeni Itaiwo, NTA News.
6 patent medicine shops, including a pharmacy, have been sealed by the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria for carrying out illegal medical activities and sale of fake drugs. Uchenna Nnamele reports that 3 female suspects were also arrested during the raid carried out in parts of Enugu metropolis and Nsukka.
The enforcement exercise took the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria to parts of Enugu metropolis, Udenu, and Nsukka local government areas. The sealed shops were discovered to be operating illegally, carrying out clinical practices and unauthorized access to controlled medicines, as well as selling fake and substandard drugs. Addressing newsmen, Officer in charge, Pharmacy Council of Nigeria, Enugu State, Chioma Chukwujeku, says the enforcement exercise is part of the Council's efforts to achieve its mandate of enforcing the National Drug Distribution Guidelines for accessing safe and qualitative medicines in Nigeria.
So many people that are handling drugs, some reserved antibiotics that can be used in a very serious ailments, are being handled by quacks that do not know A from B.
The duty of the Pharmacy Council is to supervise and manage everybody who handles drug, to make sure that the standards and the range with which they should operate are guaranteed.
The council says the arrested suspects will be charged to court for prosecution.
The Sheyi Tinubu Drug Bank Initiative has donated essential medicine to the National Hospital, Abuja. The pharmaceutical supplies to be domiciled in the hospital's pediatrics, obstetrics and gynecology departments to serve pregnant women and children is part of a broader nationwide maternal and child health intervention strategy to complement federal government efforts to reduce maternal and infant mortality in this country.
It is a scheme that aims to attend to 10,000 indigent patients with delivery supplies per month. And this scheme will be established in a total of 60 tertiary hospitals across North and South Nigeria in the first phase.
We want it to be interdepartmental collaboration to manage this intervention properly, because it's not a one-off supply. We will be restocking.
We'll be looking forward to more areas of collaboration, because National Hospital, being a quaternary center, we don't just depend on funds from the government. We depend on collaboration from other organizations to make things better.
President Bola Tinubu extends his best wishes to the Director General, National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, NILDS, Professor Abubakar Olarinwaju Suleiman, on his 60th birthday. He commends the celebrant's long and distinguished career in academia and public service, as well as his contributions as Minister of National Planning, Deputy Chairman of the National Planning Commission, and now as Director General of NILDS, where he has strengthened legislative capacity and deepened democratic governance in Nigeria, and his role in training lawmakers and policy leaders across Nigeria and West Africa. The President prays for his continued good health, wisdom, and greater service to the nation. The ancient town of Iperuremo in Ikene local government area of Ogun State was agog as dignitaries converged on St. James Anglican Church to celebrate the 90th birthday of Chief Mrs. Victoria Olaiton Abiodun, mother of Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun. President Bola Tinubu, represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, described the nonagenarian as a quintessential woman who is still positively impacting lives. Hakim Jimo reports.
In a congratulatory message, President Bola Tinubu, represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, described Chief Victoria Olaiton Abiodun as a pathfinder who is making positive impact in the society, molding and mentoring younger generations that are contributing immensely to nation building, including one of our children, Governor Dapo Abiodun.
Your life tells the story of a woman who built not just a home, but a legacy. From the classrooms of Iperu to the corridors of Ondo, you shape minds, nurture dreams, and kindle lights that continue to burn in the lives of those you have taught and touched.
Your abiding faith in God and your compassion towards all who cross your path have left an indelible legacy of love, humility, and integrity.
In a short exhortation entitled The Grateful Heart Receives More Blessings from God, the officiating minister, Most Reverend Olushino Fakpe, admonished the celebrant to rededicate her life to the service of the Almighty as she celebrates the milestone age.
She carries a rare gift of wisdom that enables her to settle disputes with calmness and fairness. And that is Mama Abiodun for you. She doesn't take side. She will say it just as it is.
A grand reception followed where guests, including the Senate President, Goswi Akpabio, and others, described Mama as a virtuous woman who instilled in her children exemplary leadership qualities.
You can imagine why God has been gracious to her and her family. It is not easy for every mother to be alive to see the children grow up, do very well in businesses and even in politics.
You are an inspiration to all of us, your children. Yes, many times you whipped us and caned us to order. But I guess it has paid off. We've all haven't turned out too badly.
And we can't thank you enough.
Chief Mrs. Victoria Olaiton Abiodun, during her youthful life, was a teacher par excellence who positively impacted the lives of her students. From Ikperu Remo in Ogun State, Akim Jimo, NTA News.
Lagos will be our first port of call on Nationwide, and Adeola is standing by to bring us reports from that zone. Hello, Adeola.
For joining us in Lagos. Now, to create a conducive business environment for auto assembly plants in Nigeria, the House of Representatives has pledged its support to encourage innovation and improve productivity through legislation. Chairman House Committee on Industry made the pledge during the committee's oversight function to some auto and assembly plants in Lagos. Ime Udori reports that committee's visit is to assess the state of the automotive industry in Nigeria. Her report is here presented.
Determined to drive innovation, advance local assembly, and empower the nation's automotive sector, this visit is an important step in aligning legislative support with the needs of the industry and area of intervention. The House Committee on Industry, led by its chairman, Enitan Dolapo Badru, toured 3 facilities in Lagos known for the assembly and fabrication of vehicles, motorbikes, and tricycles.
There used to be a time when they used to do hire purchase. But where would they get money to pay 37% or 38% or even 24% as interest rates? We need to work on this. Walk through the central bank, walk through all the banks, and walk through the even the regulators and the assemblers.
The need to regulate policies for the growth of the country's automotive industry to position Nigeria as a leading automotive manufacturing nation with international standards was emphasized.
We've seen the increment in number of labor, the employment compared to what it has been. Then they are increasing, and we hope, and we are working with them, that things will get better. On our own part, we are supporting them with necessary policy.
It is hoped that the visit will help to evaluate the current state of the automotive industry in Nigeria with potential policy recommendations to boost the industry's growth.
In the face of climate emergencies, stakeholders in Africa are calling for deliberate actions to prioritize water sanitation in an era of escalating climate change effects. This is the focus of the 5th Africa Week of Action Against Water Privatization with the theme, Our Water, Our Rights. Dana Ajali has details.
Water remains one of the most universal commodity the world over. Clean water is also essential for drinking, domestic use, food production, public health, and hygiene. In 2010, the United Nations General Assembly adopted a historical resolution recognizing the right to safe and clean drinking water and sanitation as a human right essential for full enjoyment of life. However, concerned stakeholders here say this is still under threat in Africa as a result of failure by authorities and nature's response to humanity's destructive exploitation of the environment.
This campaign will assert over a simple, consistent, and urgent claim that water is a public good and a human right.
The industrialization of water has made it difficult for marginalized and vulnerable communities to access free, clean water as a human right, which is enshrined in our Constitution.
Speakers insist that water should remain a public asset.
The resistance against the commodification of water from local communities is not an isolated struggle.
In this collective defiance lies the blueprint for our collective survival.
It can't be true that the government does not have the capacity to provide something as basic as water.
We must empower community and workers. As co-manager, we must end corporate control of African water.
Stakeholders are also of the opinion that climate resilience is not an abstract slogan. Societies should have the capacity to absorb shocks, protect ecosystems, and guarantee continuity of life when disaster strikes. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
And we're done with the contributions from Lagos. Nationwide will continue after the break in Port Harcourt with Dibabari. To stay with us.
Beating heart of Owerri, business never sleeps. From sunrise to sundown, the wheels keep turning. And behind the scenes, vision meets action. Governor Hope Uzodima's leadership has turned manifestos into reality, transformations that feels like a miracle. But progress needs peace, and in Imo, it's not left to chance. From land to sky to river deep, guardians are watching, protecting dreams and opportunity. At Orashi's quiet shore, hydropower is rising, set to energize a growing economy. The change is visible. New roads emerge, industry hums, communities come alive. At the center, a digital revolution. 500,000 young minds trained each year to build the future. As Orashi rises, so does Imo and the hopes of a hard-working people. A new Imo is on the rise.
Lagos, Port Harcourt, Abuja. The city is moving. New voices, heavy drip, all heart. From the streets to the stage, this is the next Afrobeat star.
Yo! What are we here for? Next Afrobeat star! Let's get nasty!
And the talents from all over showed up to own the room. But they're not alone.
Spiritual. Gospel.
All chasing a slot to face the judges. Puffy T, SARS, Andre Vibes, P Pride. Catch next Afrobeat star on
us on the network service of the NTA on Thursday, 16th of October 2025 by 10 p.m. as we tell the remarkable story of Jigawa's journey. 2 years of purposeful leadership and people-centered governance. Jigawa, our home, our pride, our future.
In line with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, the hydrocarbon pollution remediation project HYPREP has reaffirmed its commitment to the environmental recovery and sustainable development of Ogoniland. The reaffirmation was made during HYPREP's third quarter regulators and asset owners dialogue held in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. The report.
The hydrocarbon pollution remediation project HYPREP 2025 fourth-quarter regulators and asset owner dialogue marks the 19th edition of the series, bringing together key environmental enforcement agencies, oil projects. HYPREP coordinator Professor Ninimbari Nizabe highlighted recent achievements in environmental restoration, livelihood support, and infrastructural development across Ogoniland. He stressed the importance of sustained partnership among regulators to guarantee that each phase of the remediation effort meets international standards.
We are generating a lot of data new to science. And so how do we begin to convert this data to knowledge product that will advance the science of remediation and restoration globally? All this cumulatively should translate to developing knowledge products for remediation and restoration.
Participants commended IPREP for sustaining regular stakeholders' engagement through its quarterly dialogues and urged greater synergy among agencies.
IPREP has made remarkable improvement in the area of environmental remediation and mangrove restoration.
Looking forward to that 45% inclusion for the women on all project sites.
The dialogue wrapped up with a renewed pledge to keep up the drive for environmental restoration. In Port Harcourt, Robinson Daratede, NTA News.
In Abuja for the rest of the story. Good evening.
Many thanks, Divya Berry in our Port Harcourt Network Center. And here in Abuja, the Army Headquarters Garrison is enhancing the capacity of its personnel to ensure rapid response to threats. The French correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the Army Garrison is also promoting operational effectiveness through the Planning Cadre Seminar 2025. It is a specialized training program designed for mid-career military and security personnel with focus on improving operational leadership, decision-making and problem-solving skills.
As a seat of national power, demands special attention and proactive planning to forestall any form of insurgent activity. I am confident that the outcomes of this cadre will contribute immensely to improving operational readiness, interagency synergy, and ultimately the security architecture of the Federal Capital Territory.
This year's operations planning cadre is expected to amplify existing effort by the garrison in collaborating with other sister services, agencies, and paramilitary organizations to meet its operational end state.
Tactical and operational level officers from Nigerian Army formations, security agencies and relevant organizations are participating, fostering stronger interagency collaboration and synergy in addressing security challenges. Religious leaders want governors of states affected by insecurity to adopt the Kaduna Peace model in bringing to an end the challenges of insecurity in their respective states. This was at the Special Northern Ulama Summit on Insecurity and Socio-Economic Challenges. Haruna Mohammed reports from Kaduna.
It is another gathering of religious leaders from the north to brainstorm on ways to tackle security challenges in the region, while adopting the Islamic perspective of the Arabic word sulhu, meaning reconciliation, a peace model adopted by Kaduna that has brought about the return of peace in troubled areas in the state, particularly Bulnangwari.
Islam recognizes the role of sulhu, which is peace accord or peace pact or a reconciliation.
If northern Nigeria is at peace, then the whole nation is at peace.
The insecurity is not to be left in the hands of security agencies alone. It's the responsibility of everybody in Nigeria, more especially the religious organizations.
Apart from the religious leaders, politicians are also in attendance to make their input. They said regulating the social media will go a long way in stopping conflict merchants from misinformation and instigating violence.
They will come up with something that will arrest the issue of social media by coming with a proposal on what we are going to do in the National Assembly. And by God, get this time around, we do it.
The major subject of discussions today is about unifying Nigerian Ummah, especially northern Nigerian ulamas, in the face of challenges in providing leadership.
The clerics believe that this summit will further foster religious collaboration to help in addressing the challenges of insecurity. Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
Ahead of next year's training of artisans under the Scale Up Artisans program of the federal government, the Industrial Training Fund ITF has commenced screening of 15,000 intending artisans in Plateau State. Ndenyang Adeyaba Jang reports.
The Scale Up Artisans Super is a federal government's program that is coordinated by the Industrial Training Fund to empower and upskill artisans for improved service delivery and make them globally competitive. It is in this regard and in line with the renewed hope agenda of the present administration that the ITF is screening these intending artisans in Plateau State and other states of the Federation.
We are trusting her to be employed and also to employ others.
I saw the application online, so I applied this. I'm here for the ITF.
At the end of the day, we'll be expecting that the screening will be successful.
ITF Director General Afis Ogun representative says SUPA will mobilize these youths to upskill and make them financially independent, as well as position them for greater productivity with global certification.
Trying to make sure that we get to see them, we interact with them, we get their details, and then we onboard them to training centers where they should have this program come next year.
The intending artisans are expected to choose from 24 trade skills. In Jos, Indenyan and the Abuja, NTA News.
We understand that this exercise is being conducted across the 36 states of the Federation, including the Federal Capital Territory. We still have Ndeyan in Jos live now to tell us more on this screening by the ITF and the various skills lined up on the training. Ndeyan, you're on.
Yes, thank you for joining us in Jos. The screening began yesterday at the ITF area office in Jos, with similar screening going on across the 17 local government areas of the state. The 15,000 intending artisans had earlier registered online and were contacted through the contact phone numbers they had provided during the first registration. The physical training is to help the federal government through the ITF generate the needed data of the intending artisans for tracking purposes towards helping them grow their businesses and assist government in monitoring the informal sector, leading to informed policy decisions and interventions. This is preparatory to the commencement of the 2026 training. These youths are without trade skills, and so the training will commence at the foundation level for them to acquire skills that will make them financially independent. SUPA is also one of the key pillars of the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President towards giving Nigerian youth a new lease of life. The training will go further to upskill the intending artisans, and they are expected to write internationally recognized certification examination like you heard in the report. This is to position them for professional service delivery across the world. And one interesting thing about this SUPA is that these intending artisans do not have knowledge of any skills, and as such, our focus is on intensive training, and a stipend of 10,000 naira will be given to them monthly as a transportation allowance. This is to encourage them to participate actively in the training, and that is why they are encouraged to register at centers closest to them, as truancy will not be condoned. And for those that excel at the end of the day, there are incubation centers that will further hone their skills for greater productivity, with 3 in each state of the Federation. And ITF is very particular about centers that will provide training, and they must have adequate facilities for seamless training and in compliance with industry standards. And we have 24 skills ranging from ICT, tailoring, fashion design, and the likes. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you so much, Ndeyang, for that report. Kwara State government is making extra efforts to enroll all pupils into basic primary education. It is doing this through the State Universal Basic Education Board, Kwara Subeb, by distributing free educational materials to pupils in Kambi Hausa, an educational disadvantaged community in Muru local government area of the state. Ahmad Fulani's report is here presented.
The Hausa community in Muru local government area of Kwara State has a population of about 17,000 inhabitants. This is why the only public primary school in the community, which has a population of about 235 pupils, can no longer accommodate the growing number of pupils. To address this challenge, the Kwara State government, through the State Universal Basic Education Board, has commenced the construction of additional classrooms to accommodate new enrollees, presenting school uniforms and other educational materials to the Sediki Kambik Hausa community.
Our purpose of being here is to register as many as possible out-of-school children back to school. The governor has also mandated us today to give them ECCD plastic chairs, uniform for about 350 pupils.
What is happening here will bring more children to the school. It's going to add value to the education in Kambi community.
The event was well attended by joyful children and their parents, celebrating what many described as a turning point for the community's education.
The leadership of the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, says it is not and will not be part of any protest organized or influenced by Omole Showore or other politically motivated group or individual. At a press briefing in Abuja by its president, Comrade Olushola Oladoja, the group says the narrative currently circulating on social media platforms that NANS is planning to organize or participate in a so-called Free Nnamdi Kanu protest slated for October 20th is false, misleading and malicious. As the umbrella body representing all Nigerian students both home and abroad, NANS says it believes strongly in the rule of law, due process and peaceful engagement, considering that the matter concerning Nnamdi Kanu is a legal issue currently before a competent court of law. NANS explains that it would therefore be inappropriate, unlawful and irresponsible for it to take a partisan position or mobilize any form of protest on a matter before a judiciary. While NANS says it remains non-partisan, it calls on parents and guardians across the country to warn their children and wards not to be deceived or lured into being used as agents to disrupt public peace. Nigerian will now link up with Susan in our Makudi Network Center for the next set of reports on Nationwide. Hello, Susan. You're on.
You're welcome to Makudi. The Benue State Executive Council has set up a committee to draft a white paper for the implementation of government bills and decisions on the reports of agricultural inputs verification for the year 2024 agro input supply. Commissioner for Agriculture and Food Security, Dr. Benjamin Ashave, disclosed this while briefing newsmen on the resolutions of the State Executive Council meeting. Elias Itiev has more.
The Implementation Committee, according to the Commissioner for Agriculture and Food Security, Dr. Benjamin Ashave, is headed by the Secretary to the State Government, while Commissioners for Agriculture and that of Justice and the Chief of Staff to the Governor are members. The committee is mandated to facilitate the process of payment to the genuine vendors who supplied agricultural inputs in 2024 that have not received payment to that effect.
The Implementation Committee is again mandated to take all necessary measures, be they punitive or otherwise, to correct the ills of what transpired at the Bureau of Agricultural Mechanization for last year.
Council also approved the establishment of the Benue Agro-Climatic and Watershed Management Agency to run side by side with Agro-Climatic Resilience and Semi-Arid Landscape, AGRISA, with Victor Ama appointed as Director General of the agency. The Council equally cleared the air on IDP funds and donations from donor agencies, insisting that the state government is not in possession of any money for displaced persons.
People who have the notion that monies are in the coffers of government are probably not believing government that such monies may be diverted should go to bed and rest, that government has no hand other than the decisions that will finally be arrived at between donor agencies, IDPs, with only a representative of government as witness.
The Council was also informed of job creation and placement opportunities offered by the Republic of Belarus, which the state is currently benefiting from the gesture, with 40 Benue indigenes undergoing training to acquire various skills. In Makudi, Elias Itiav, NTA News.
And that does it from Makudi. Nationwide continues with Kemi in Ibadan after this timeout.
You're still watching Nationwide, and a warm welcome to Ibadan. Governments at all levels have been charged to offer a timely platform to strengthen Japan-Africa relations, focusing on youth-centered initiatives by prioritizing education, innovation and entrepreneurship potentials of Africa's teeming youth population. This was at the 6th Annual International Conference on Japanese Studies in Africa at the University of Ibadan. Rofia Animashan Badmos has the report.
The visit of the Japanese embassy to UI, according to Professor Aguoro, is to appreciate the tremendous contributions of African Association of Japanese Studies to academic excellence.
What we are looking for as a university is a symbiotic relationship with Japan in such a way that mobility is made easier, in such a way that knowledge sharing is enhanced, in such a way that our models of development can be examined, and of course collaboration can actually drive our own development too.
In his keynote address, Dr. Adedayo Omotunde said applying Japan's AI playbook to Nigerian productivity would drive economic growth and promote cultural exchange, adding that the conference would empower the next generations of leaders.
As the government of Japan, as a promoter of Japanese culture, we would like to do more to familiarize students in Africa, including Nigeria, with what we have in Japan.
Is to establish a framework that will strengthen national peace in Nigeria, that will strengthen peace and security in Africa.
Professor Adedoyin Agworo received the Japan Ambassador's Commendation Award for her tremendous contributions to Japanese studies in Africa, thereby strengthening the relations between the regions.
The promotion of the Japanese studies in Africa, fostering the mutual understanding that has been well spoken of. I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to the Embassy of Japan in Nigeria for this esteemed award.
In Ibadan, Rofia Animashan Badmos, NTA News.
And that's it on Nationwide from Ibadan. Nationwide continues in Abuja after this break.
Many thanks, Kemi. Relevant authorities are being advised to shift attention to creating programs that will alleviate the plight of women and the girl child in both rural and semi-urban communities. National Coordinator of New Dawn for Women and Community Intervention Initiative, Sadatu Adamu Mokane, says empowerment interventions, campaign for gender inequality, community-based and resilience programs that will improve the livelihood of those at the grassroots should be encouraged.
Change cannot come from one organization alone. It will take a collective heartbeat of passion, unity, and purpose. As we look ahead, our focus is clear: to expand our women empowerment and livelihood programs to reach more rural communities.
The group commits to continue contributing its quota through various interventions, from skills empowerment, widows' support to community development projects that will touch lives and rekindle hope, in alignment with Renewed Hope initiative of the present administration. And that is Nationwide. We thank you so much for being a part of it. I am Chinenye Ngoye.